Yes, but you can't really say separate but equal here because they're essentially doing the same thing. We all know how it was separate but unequal. Well, this is separate but unequal as well. You may have these things equal de jure, equal under law, but when it comes to practical reality, what actually happens, they're not equal at all. Socially, they're not equal. If you're not married, then people will treat you like you're not married. Even if you do have a union, you'll get treated differently in restaurants, you'll get treated differently by your neighbors, you might even get treated differently trying to apply for a job.
And how would you like that, huh? Exactly.
And yes, we actually had that been put to the hands of the voters, to be honest.
How?
Basically, they tried to put a law saying you can discriminate by some companies by race. And it was actually passed by the voters.
You gotta be kidding me. Passed by the voters? Why?
Yeah. Apparently, that's how it was back then. And also, we actually tried to discriminate gays from their jobs here.
Oh, how I love society. But anyway.
That was back then.
And this is now. Now we have gay marriage that is banned, and we don't like it. We are blaming the religious people. Why? Because they are responsible. So they worship a religion that says gay sex and marriage is wrong. Well.
Well, first off, it's actually banned in most places. I know a few states already legalized it.
What states?
Iowa, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Vermont.
Oh, I'm moving there for sure.
Yeah. Looks like New Jersey, New York could go be next.
So they're next on the list. Well, that's good.
Hopefully California could be the 7th, because we were actually the 2nd state.
California better be next. I mean, it is a very large state. They could really use it.
And yeah, plus there's actually plenty of gay people here.
Hence the reason Proposition came into effect. And there's also a lot of religious people there. Sorry.
No, we have a lot of extremist, rightist, religious, right-wing conservatives.
And creationists.
Creation. No, not actually too many creationists there, actually.
Well, so some people think they could teach gay marriage in school. Wow, don't I have a few words to say about this? Where do I begin? Here's the first step. What are you people thinking? Do you honestly think that it's acceptable to teach something like marriage in public schools? No, it's not. Marriage is not something you should talk about in schools. Come on. Use some logic sense. Especially gay marriage. That should never be discussed in school either. I mean, people don't even know what religion is.
Schools is basically reserved just to learn like how to get through the real world. Basically, why do we need to learn marriages in schools? Seriously, I don't even know why we're even talking about personal value and family tradition. I mean, come on, family tradition stays in family, nothing else.
That's all it is.
Schools is just basically for learning. That's all it is. Basically learning about your math, reading, science, history, PE, all that good stuff.
Oh, and I guess I've heard that the newest course education requirement is this. Oh, you have to learn about gay marriage. And then one of the students could be looking at it like, why? Oh, because we decided to put this new policy because of Proposition 8. And then the other students could drop out of the health class where they take it in. It's like, screw this, blah, 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 blah. George Stein, never see him again. Gone.
They could do that, actually. They could say, okay, I don't want to learn about this. And they're like, okay. The school is like, okay. Because remember, Proposition 8 only contains 14 words. Only a marriage between a man and a woman is valid and recognized in California. That's it.
When it comes to the laws regarding education and sex ed, all it says is that children will be taught to respect marriage. And if you think about it, when it comes to sex ed, your standard shock value scare them into doing the right thing sex ed class, and sex ed in general, that's basically teaching them to stay to one partner. It's nothing more, nothing less. At least that's what it should be. I disagree with marriage being involved at all, but even if that was left there, all it should be is just teaching them that they really need to not go around everywhere.
Speaking of marriage, I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't think marriage should be balanced for anyone at all, to be honest.
Would you like to explain to the class why you think this?
Well, just think about it. I mean, if the religious really thinks marriage is all sacred, all that stuff, why don't we call it heterosexual marriages, domestic partnerships, and civil unions also? They can have their marriage inside the religious facilities, all that good stuff, but in reality, I just think disrupt the marriage, Dave. If we're going to do a marriage, do it equally.
Actually, you know what? I have a pretty good idea. Why don't we change the definition of marriage? Instead of saying it just being a man between a woman, why don't we just have it as it truly is?
Yeah, but fortunately, you're always going to have those religious people. I mean, we could just say screw it up.
Well, screw them. If they want to moan and complain about the fact that marriage is between anyone that's, in love, wants to be together forever, etc., 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 and not related to gender, well, they can complain all they want. Because basically, no matter how what religion you serve, no matter what God you worship, and no matter how much you don't want to accept it, marriage is not related to gender at all. Please understand that, you religious people. Is it really that hard to get into your heads? Come on! I mean, it doesn't really add up, the fact that you use something as religion as an excuse to think you can ban someone else's freedom of expression and happiness. It really doesn't add up. I'm gonna calm down now. Go on.
And is it supposed to be religion? It's supposed to be teaching tolerance on other people?
How anticlimactic.
Don't they ever even teach tolerance anymore? I mean, come on, even their holy book says that teach tolerance, be tolerant. And no, you're gonna say, well, I tolerate this, but I don't accept it. Acceptance comes before tolerance, for gosh sakes.
Do people need to go back to Society 101?
Unfortunately, I think that some people would rather go back before Society 101. It's almost like some people would rather go back to the Dark Ages.
That's not good.
I know. I mean, if you really want to take tradition, if you really want to pull the tradition argument, then what about all the other traditions? What about the tradition of burning witches? Do you want to bring that back too?
Or the fact that people are tarred and feathered and hanged and crucified and accused of being a witch?
If you want to go back in time, open a history book, and you'll see how it is. I mean, come on. It may not be as fun, but would you rather experience it yourself? I mean, seriously, why? Or
I
is
just
there
have
any...
one thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before anyone bitches at me because I'm a Christian, it doesn't mean that I always accept my religion as the right religion. It's my belief. And even though the fact that I am, I have the right to express myself however I want. I am against Proposition 8. I'm always going to be. As long as you homophobic, religious bastards are always going to be against something as plural as gay marriage, you're never going to get us off your back. We're always going to go after you. And you know why? Because if you're banning gay marriage, you're taking away the freedom that we, for several hundreds of years, have fought to obtain. We literally went through wars. We literally fought other countries that were our allies today. And we even fought ourselves at one point because we had different views on how things worked.
Remember, look at the past. Go back to the past and see what people had to really experience.
Ask the people in the past what they had to suffer through. Ask the people that have burned at the stakes because they were accused of being witches. Ask the people that had to sit in a certain spot on the bus just because they had different colored skin. Who can't get into college nowadays because of the color of their skin. Who can't even get married because they are a certain sexuality. Why don't you think about that before you decide to take away our freedoms?
And remember, even though that might be highly unlikely, we can still take it away because it's a choice, and we'll see who gets the last laugh. So basically, we're talking about gay marriage in California, Proposition 8, and how things can get in the way, and not to repeat the past.
And not to mention how much I need anger management. I'm kidding.
We all do, okay? So we'll leave it at that. In conclusion, I support gay marriage.
And also, don't flame us because we have an opinion. Just so you know, we don't accept blaming.
This is the RCA. Goodbye. Get out.
Oh, and have a free complimentary tea on the way out. Bye.
See ya.